Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Slimming Surgeon podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Candace Kickler. We are wrapping up my Women Tell All series. This is part 3, and I have my beautiful, wonderful guests, 3 women, 3 business women, 3 moms, and 3 friends, and we are talking about all of the things. And in an extra special version of this Women Tell All series, we are also going to have their daughters on today. So this episode is going to be a little crazy, a little fun, and there's going to be a little bit of movement, but I have back with me Kim, Vicky, and Victoria, and we are going to dive back into the Women Tell All series. Welcome back, ladies.
Hi.
Thank you. We're here.
Okay, so let's just go through quickly like some of the feedback that you guys have gotten from the episode. Like we've already released part 1, part 2 is coming out next week. But like, what have people been telling you about the info that we've put out in regards to aging and wellness?
Overwhelming. I think I have gotten like a few phone calls and emails and texts, and kind of overwhelming. Like people were so excited, and I think the response was great, and some of my friends were like, "Oh my God, I'm so proud of you," and this and that. And I think it was great because a lot of women don't talk about these issues, and we're brave enough to be here and talk about these things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I think what's so interesting about this podcast is that, okay, vagina. Let's say it. Let's all say it. I always say the cooch, but I'm going to say it, the vagina. For men, how crazy is that? But I think that it's really unleashed so much dialogue regarding vaginal rejuvenation,
and female rejuvenation.
Yes.
There's different ways to say it. Yeah.
And I cannot believe how many men have like had conversation. It's crazy, right?
I wonder if my men or male viewers have bumped up just because of you guys like talking about this. I'll have to check the stats.
Yeah, we were getting some of the feedback.
I'm saying because they don't know
anything.
Oh no. Yeah.
Well,
So
it's a big issue with this age for menopause. We're not going to dive back into that, but men have no idea what we're going through, and they think without the Mona Lisa, we're not sexually attracted to them. It's not down there. It's
right.
It's separate from our hearts and our minds. So there just needs to be a podcast for men to tell them everything that's happening to women.
Maybe we should do that, like a handbook.
Totally.
no, totally.
Yeah.
And by the way, we say Mona Lisa because we only know the Mona Lisa, but you actually
There are
have
others. There's the Thermiva, which is one that we have at Haas Plastic Surgery. But there, it just depends on what brand and what device like your practitioner happens to have. There are many different ones to look into. So yeah. Okay. So we got a lot of feedback on that. I feel like our conversations around plastic surgery were great, but it also kind of kicked off, or we were able to kind of see it live and in action with Dolly Parton on what was it? Some kind of football situation she was on?
Yeah, the Dolphins.
She saw the Dallas
halftime
Cowboys,
show.
the Cowboys.
and she rocked that outfit like no tomorrow.
Oh my gosh,
no.
I want to be her. She is so
She's our
freaking
hero.
hot. And then there's Cher, at the Macy's
Day parade that morning.
Yes.
They're both 77.
I can't. They're gorgeous.
They look amazing.
They look
Obviously, they've done a lot of work, but I don't think they look overdone. I mean, it's all your perception and like your personal preference of what done and not done are, but you can tell that these women are exuding confidence, and it's because that they feel good in their skin.
Absolutely.
And
I think that
happiness,
they're a good role model in the sense that, I think I read an article that said that women at that age just kind of disappear off the charts, whether or not you're a movie star or anything, you just kind of start covering it up and hiding in the closet, whatever it is, like you're just not proud of what your body looks like. And when I saw my son happened to have the game on, and my son's like, "Mom, how many boob jobs you think she's had? And I go, I don't care how many boob jobs she's had. She looks amazing.
And that stomach.
Yeah.
She looks stunning.
I know.
And she's
the stomach. I was obsessed with the stomach.
the legs, everything.
Yeah. Has she had kids?
No, no children.
Okay, so maybe she hasn't had a tummy tuck. Maybe it's just liposuction, or maybe she's just naturally thin and has always stayed in shape. Like we don't
She's
know.
little.
We're not. I'm not her surgeon. None of you guys know her surgeon, so we don't know. But she does say there is a quote that she gives her looks. She attributes good doctors.
She did also say that, obviously be very careful if you go under the knife, do your research,
Right.
I read something like that. And so she's obviously admits having things done, and you don't get to be 77 and look like that amazing without doing anything.
And that's the like negative side of Hollywood are the people who get stuff done and then lie about it. Like, come on.
Be transparent. Who
Exactly.
cares?
We all know that you have enough money to do whatever you want. So you might as well tell us what you're doing.
She's so humble. She'll tell it all. She's so sweet. And she's got a good attitude. And I think
And she does talk about Kenny Rogers because did you see Kenny?
No.
So Kenny Rogers had a facelift gone wrong.
Yeah.
And I love Kenny Rogers so much, like love. But unfortunately, they're best friends and something went a little bit haywire.
I think he had too much done or something.
I think his eyes
I think they did a brow lift when they shouldn't have or something like that. I don't know. I haven't really looked in a long time.
Because
another thing why these women look so amazing, just to kind of touch a little bit on the hormones, and I'm sure, I didn't read anything about their hormones or who takes care of that, but I think that part looking good, it's feeling good. It's so important to, feel good and feel sexy and feel like you belong in your body. Like these women are rocking these, I don't know, some 20-year-olds don't even look that good.
A lot don't.
And so these women are, getting out there, dancing, doing all this. They're on the number one, right? On the number one chart.
I know. And hello, Cher's boyfriend is like 20 something years old.
I think
Good for her.
What? No,
20 years or 20 years younger than her.
2 years younger.
Good for her.
And, I've watched them interviewed. They seem like they're in love. It's cute. And you know what? She owns it and is happy, wasn't looking for anything. And it just goes to show us that I think we talked about this, all the chapters in our lives. We have a long runway watching these women. Some women think, oh my God, my life is over. I'm getting a divorce, or my children are off to school. Reinvent yourself. Look at what these women have done. Dolly Parton looked like that when I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
I think she pioneered breast implants.
She was definitely one of the first to be really open about it and really obvious about it, which,
And wigs.
she can't hide them.
Yeah,
Yes.
Her hair.
Yes.
Love that.
Her hair. And, it used to be like, at what age are we all supposed to get bobs? Like, that's over.
Yeah. Or let your silver just be like forever.
Yeah.
No, we're not doing that.
No, I'm not doing that. No. And like Christy Brinkley, let's put her in that whole
badass category.
badass.
Badass we want to be.
She looks amazing.
At the
30 years.
Breakers at an event last year, and I was like, oh my God. But you know what they all have in common? They're always smiling. They seem really happy. I don't know if they are or not, but they exude such confidence and such energy of fun, which I love.
Yeah.
No,
well, you have
really?
that.
I know, right? So shocking. But they just seem so like they're just loving life. And I don't know. I'm obsessed with Dolly Parton. I just think.
I'm happy for her. I know it couldn't have been easy to get up there. And I saw that she was kind of holding on.
No, listen, performing like that is physically demanding. To be able to do that at her age is incredibly impressive. Like she's super in shape to be able to do that.
She's not stopping. Last year she did Miley Cyrus New Year's Eve. She's constantly, her circuit, she is not stopping.
I wonder about things like that. Like, for example, and this is going to sound crazy, but like I was watching golf with my husband the other day and I was like, Tiger Woods, like, why does he keep playing golf? Like, he's made so much money. He doesn't need to keep playing. Like Dolly Parton doesn't need to keep performing. Like they have all the money in the world. They can retire like away yesterday, but it just goes to show you they must really enjoy what they're doing.
Yes.
Like it must
they have
give
a passion
them,
for what they do. Yeah.
They must have that drive. And I feel that in my work. So I'll probably be operating for a really long time, but
Well, I'll be your patient.
yeah. And at some point, I'm sure all of you will.
Oh, yes.
No,
If we want to look like Dolly
tomorrow, I'm
Parton,
calling
we
you.
must do.
Yes.
Right.
No,
right.
I literally watched it and I was like, I don't care. I'm not, I said in the first podcast that I don't do a lot of surgeries, but I said, sign me up.
Yeah.
Look like that and feel that and exude happiness and sexiness. I want that. I don't want to grow old and be crotchety, and I don't even.
And some of the comments were so inappropriate. Like, at your age, like you should not be doing that. Why was she holding on? And there's a reason she was holding on, I think.
Well, yeah, she was also, wasn't she in like heels? Like,
Yes.
come on. I have to hold on sometimes.
Yes.
But it's like the haters, of
over
course,
it.
they're going to
Is that the ageism thing that you were talking
so
about?
ridiculous.
Right.
She's hot and they're just
It's the new
jealous.
77. That's what she was
Yeah.
saying, It's like, the new 50s, the new 20. And
Right.
I hope so.
Listen, my dad is 86 and he's the docent at the Flagler Museum. And he has no wrinkles.
So handsome.
He's so handsome.
Wonderful.
she's trying to pitch it for the single ladies
Oh
out there.
my gosh, he's hit on all the time. Unfortunately, I did lose my mom, which is super sad. But 3 years ago. But my dad is, like a historian, and he's 86 years old. He's not going anywhere. Like
Yeah.
But you know what he does often? Laughs.
Yeah,
he
he
laughs
laughs.
all the time.
Yes.
At himself. At nothing.
Yes.
He's
If
just
you
so
follow
happy.
me on
Yeah.
Instagram, you'll see all his videos. Hashtag Gramps. And he's such an inspiration because he's always wants to go to a party. He wants to dance. He wants to go out. He's at Henry's all the time.
Yeah.
Which is their local restaurant here in Palm Beach. But yeah, it's just, I love having someone in my own family to look up to.
Right.
Like that.
Well, and now you guys are, segueing into the next part of this podcast. You guys are being those role models for your daughters. Like, tell me what it's like to have that weight on your shoulder. Like, I have 2 sons and they're still very young, but like, you guys are really, putting in the work, trying to establish certain habits and relationship skills and things like that with your girls. Like, what is that like?
Tremendous weight. Huge.
It's really hard because I think that we, a lot of us get caught up in the busyness and working and advancing our careers. But in the end, it's all about basically our future generations and passing on the baton to to our young girls and advocating for them. And for me, it's always been kind of like showing her by example. I was always to advance my career and further my studies and doing something, keep working and doing different things. And I think that they see that they, by example, by not being stag and just kind of like let the world run by you, you just keep pushing through basically. I think that's important.
But I think a common theme amongst all of you is your positive attitude. I think that is so important that you keep going, but you're happy about it and you're, upbeat. I know obviously that's not every day. And I'm sure you guys have your moments behind the scenes where you scream and yell and like get very upset because that's reality.
Yeah.
But like all of you have such good energy. And I think that's great. I think you have to have that because, and I was thinking about this because I'm about to go home to Alabama. Like you want to have a home where your kids want to come back home and they want to spend time with you and they want to be close and you want to have that forever.
Oh my
So
God. Yeah, I think about it all the time. I just want everyone to be happy. And, we're transitioning from like teenagers to kind of adults. So you want to hang out with them, but you still have to be their parents. So no, I totally know what you're saying.
It's a balance between, correcting them for the things they, and not being too naggy, but just kind of maybe.
because they're like mini adults, but they're not adults yet.
Make their own mistakes, and that's how they learn. And, like I would tell my children, like they were little at the time. And I think I was working on my bachelor's or something. And I'll be like, I'm not going to do your homework. Mm-hmm. I will be doing you a disjustice. I said, I am your biggest cheerleader and I will cheer for you and I will give you the tools, but I will not do your homework because I got to do my own.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So it's a lot of work. I think looking back, we underestimate the power that we have as mothers and parents. And I give a lot of the credit, of course, to my husband because he was my biggest cheerleader and he was always supporting me, whatever I did. And, even though he knew I didn't have to work or, he was just like, he knew I wanted this. He knew this was important for me. And he was like right by my side the whole time and just still kind of like, we still have other projects that we're working on. And more currently, we're working on expanding the practice and maybe doing some rebranding and just working together more more as a team rather than just your business, my business. So I think that's I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, and letting your children see collaboration and growth even as you're aging, one of the biggest pieces of advice that I've heard that I feel like has made an impact to me is from another podcast that I listen to regularly, but he said, like the worst thing you can do for your children is to not live up to your potential. To just like be stagnant, to not go for your goals, to not advance yourself, and to not be the best person you can be, because it's like, okay, you're going to tell your son or your daughter, you are amazing. You can be whatever you want to be. But then they're like, okay, well then why don't you do it?
Yep.
Like you can't, it's the double standard. Like you can't
absolutely
be a piece of shit.
I know. And I'm obsessed with my daughter. Like I have an only child. So you can imagine like, oh my gosh, like all eyes on her all the time. But she is,
she's so beautiful.
She's like my mini me. Like what I love is like, I remember, and I do love parties, but then there was like, I think during COVID or I don't know, like it just like I stopped a little bit. Obviously during COVID, there was no parties, but
right.
I remember saying like, how come you don't have your friends over more often? She's like, well, why don't you? And I was like, oh my God. So I really upped my game. And I was like, you're right. I have to lead by example. What are you kidding me? You're so right. Like I do try to lead by example, and she is my mini me. Like she totally loves to have parties with her friends. She's a good friend. But most importantly, she knows that she has to take care of herself. I instill that all the time. Like never think for 2 seconds you're going to get married and just have this fairy tale life.
Well, and that is such a thing, especially here. It was also a thing where I grew up in Alabama. It was like you went to college to find a husband, or then it was when I was in medical school, like you became a nurse to meet a doctor.
Oh yeah,
and then you could quit working. Obviously, I never got a taste of that, because I'm still working, and I didn't marry a millionaire, or billionaire these days. A millionaire is like nothing these days. That's like nothing, whatever. But around here locally, like I still have friends my age to this day who are trying to find someone based off their income. And that is just like, what are you doing?
They'll learn the hard way.
Yeah. And they say like, what is it? It's like the most difficult job is being married for money. Like you'll never work harder than when you do, if that's what you married for.
Being married is really hard.
Yeah.
I've been married 24 years.
Exactly.
And I love my husband, but we have our up and downs, and gosh, if it was just for the money, it will never work.
Yeah.
No.
I had a friend that went, I have so many stories, but I just, one girlfriend of mine, I set her up with this amazing doctor, and he was such a great guy. And she came home. She's like, he had a green card of Amex.
Stop.
And it was like over.
Oh my
that?
God.
Have you ever? I was like, are you joking me? You don't even have a job. Like, what are you insane? It's a nice.
Wow.
Yeah. So like,
I'm dumbfounded. That's ridiculous. But I know this
I thought you meant green card, like a visa.
I was thinking like
a great Amex.
like alien.
And when I do try to set girls up, that is the question. What do they?
Do they have a black card
or all those like silly things? I'm like, but you.
What do they drive? Where do they live?
Don't have a job.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Right.
It just reminds, I went out on a date, on a random blind date, and this guy, first of all, showed up completely drunk. I mean, like, could barely walk.
Okay.
That's a turn off.
Right. Ew.
He sat down and he threw out his black card and whatever. And he was like, that's nothing. Wait till you see. And I was like, check, please. Literally, I was like, I've got to go. And he stood up and he fell. I had to carry him.
Oh, God.
And
goodness.
after we got home, after he'd fallen twice, and I literally leaned him up against the building. That was the only blind date maybe I'd gone on after, my separation or whatever. I stood him up against the building and I said, good luck. Thank you. And I literally left him leaning against the building, and he called me. He was like, I thought that went great. What do you think? And I was like,
and was he blackout?
And then you had to like block him. I think he like haunted you.
Yeah. Oh, I did block him, but that was hysterical.
I thought it was a great date. How
This is
sad
a funny
is that
story.
he thought that was a great date. No, can I tell
Or
you
he was just so drunk he didn't remember and assumed it was great
was
because
so
he's
drunk.
awesome.
Yeah. He's awesome. Yeah.
But to get back to your question about what do you think your girls think? I think probably all of our girls think, with the amount of stuff that we do and what we've done and where we've come from and where we're going and the stuff that we keep doing and reinventing ourselves, I think they probably think, oh my God, how do I do that? What are they doing? How did they get, I think we blow their minds actually, because I know my daughter, she kind of thought you could go to school and then get married.
Right.
And I'm like,
Well, and
absolutely
you can.
not.
I mean, you can. It is an option.
Absolutely. I mean, 100%.
Not what I
but
recommend.
I tell my children, you can't get married until you're after 30. You know, find yourself.
Well, when does the brain fully develop again? What is the age?
25.
25.
Yeah.
So really,
Yeah.
I know. And it's really bad because we go to college and then just like poison ourselves with alcohol for like 4 years. So it's really not good for that brain development. But
No, I know.
teach your girls not to do that. Yeah, I know. We did it, but
Yeah. And we survived. It's
Yeah.
troubleshooting. I think college is troubleshooting, but you can talk to the girls about that. But yeah, so we have 2 seniors and you have a graduate. She's in the
She's
workforce.
working in the workforce.
So
she has a great job.
I think a lot of her society, obviously, you know, the upbringing, the way we raised her, and, you know, it takes so many different aspects, but it makes me think of a lot of the internships and jobs she had before she went. I think a lot of kids graduate from college in today's economy or today's, you know, industry, and they've never worked a day in their lives.
yeah.
And they don't have any experience. And I think that, you know, she worked at a medical spa. She was running their HRT clinic. She did like so many different jobs before she finished college. And I remember the owner of this medical spa wrote her this amazing letter. And in the letter, you know, of course, it sounded like I wrote it, you know, like, oh my God, this lady's so proud of my daughter. In the letter, she wrote that she did so many different jobs within the practice, and at any role, she was amazing and she performed beyond expectations. And I think that letter is what landed her first job, because she, you know, she was, I think, 21 at the time. She graduated from college at 20, and at 21, she was already in the workforce working for a pharmaceutical company, medical sales device, and she's already on her 3rd job, and she's doing amazing. But you'll get to listen to her later. Her name is Gabriella.
So maybe when my daughter comes in, you could tell her, because she I like to say she likes engineering. You could tell her how good it is to go to med school. Will you tell her that?
Yeah, of
She's super
course.
smart.
Yeah.
She needs to be a doctor. Then she'll be like set for life. That'll be great.
Yeah.
She wants to be an interior designer right now. But
That's a good job too.
That's a
which
good job.
As long
totally
as
is.
they have a passion, you
Yeah.
know, and
Such
like
a
they
passion.
actually
Yes.
like what they're doing. I think that's so important, because I see people and I have friends and it's like their job is not at all their identity. And you wonder like how miserable that must be to go work this job that you don't actually like at all. And then like, I mean, you know, life is not all about work, but work is a big part of your awake time. So if you're going to have a job, you want it to be something that you're passionate about.
That you love to do. Yes.
Yeah.
Some people stay too long at jobs. If they don't like it, they should move on. And
I think this future generation, they're not staying.
Right,
that's
like
true.
you said,
That
like
is true.
Gabriella, she already is on job
I
number
was-
3.
you
But
should-
that in the old days, that'd be like, why is she already on job number 3? But like today, that's normal because
She
you're
keeps
trying
moving
to
up the
advance.
ladder. Yeah, exactly.
And if the company you're with doesn't have that opportunity or isn't making that opportunity for you, then you have to move on.
I think it's a
Right.
process of elimination. You just need to work at, you know, the library, the sports bar, all of the things that takes everyone to be human to one another and for you to grow and learn and then figure out what you don't want, have tons of internships.
Yeah.
Whether it's inside your focus or outside of you just need to see it all because you don't know what you don't know.
Totally. And I think one of the good things or why different jobs like that are so important is because you're exposed to so many different people. And it's like, you know, especially when you grow up here, you're living in this bubble with a certain type of people, a certain type of person that maybe you went to school with and your parents are friends with. But there's a lot of crazy people. There's a lot of different people in the world. And like, you're going to have to interact with them. Like not everyone's going to have your same beliefs and your same thoughts and your same mannerisms. And
It's good to get out.
yeah, it's good to get out, but also I think a really important thing to do when you're young, and I don't want to like overstep you guys' like expertise, obviously, because you guys have children older than me, but having a sales background, like having experience in sales is like the best thing for a lifelong career to be successful. Like obviously like that's what you guys do,
right?
but you know, I did sales in college. Like I did retail sales and then I worked at a gym doing sales, like selling memberships and like just acquiring those skills, like knowing how to talk to people, knowing how to find some connection with every single person, even if like you are white and they are black and you know, they've got purple hair and you've got pink hair, like there's always something that you can find in common with someone, and like learning that skill from a young age, the younger you are, the better.
Oh my God, it's like
I agree with that.
lesson of life.
Yes. Yeah.
And everything becomes a sell.
Everything becomes sales. Like, you know, we're in medicine and aesthetics. Like there's a lot of
They don't
sales.
teach you any of that in school.
None of that is
I
taught
know
in
I didn't
school.
learn one single business class, you know, and it's when you get out there and you experience different things and then you realize like, oh my God, everything is a sell. Like I never
Right.
thought I was a sales, but then
Right.
it just became, you know, it's just what I do now, basically. I mean, it's,
And then one thing too, like I think that's important is that everyone's journey is different. So even with like any moms out there listening, like you don't have to do this one. Everyone follows the pack, and I'm so not down with that. So like you're going to go like everyone goes to this school, and then after this school they go to this middle school, and then after middle school, like they have this track, and I did not do that. So Presley, my daughter, has gone to a couple different schools. I actually homeschooled her for a little while.
Okay.
I just had like this different idea, and I actually have this sort of different theory on college as well. I do think it's important to go to school, but for college, 100% you need the degree, but everyone can obtain that degree in a different way.
Totally.
You don't have to go to the same 4-year school. You don't have to follow the pack. And that's been my big message with my daughter is just like, be you. You don't, and when I was going to homeschool my daughter, everyone, including my husband and my mother, were like, what are you doing? I'm like, I just know this is the right thing for her to do right now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to succumb to like the school telling me what to do. I'm going to tell what I want to do. So
But you do. You're good about that.
Yeah, I don't care what anybody thinks when it comes to most things. So I just think
Most things.
most things I really don't. Except
it's a unicorn in a good way.
no, but I have a problem with that. Like all these kids are like dressed the same.
Yes.
You know, if you don't go to this school, then maybe you go to this school. Why don't they go to this school? Like I don't like any of that. So I think you have to create your own journey. You have to be confident with your decision. And everyone thought I was crazy. And then since then, I think like 3 of my friends followed suit. So like I just and with college too, I just have my own opinions about
Yeah.
that. I do think you have to get 100% get a good education, but there's many different ways.
You're very wise about all
Yeah,
of
there
that.
are many different ways. And like, if you don't have a goal in mind, you shouldn't just go like and get some random degree that's not going to serve you. You're putting yourself in debt for no reason.
Exactly.
Like that's
so much
stupid.
pressure too. You're 17. What are you going to do for the rest of your life? I hate that. I think that's
know.
horrible. But
Most kids don't even know what they want to do. I mean, it's hard. You know?
again, back to the point of just get a bunch of jobs, just try a bunch of different things, internships. But you know, I agree with Vicky. Everyone has a different path. I mean, look at what's his name? Tesla. Why am I blanking? Twitter.
Elon.
Elon Musk.
Where did he go? I don't even know if he went to school.
I don't know. Most of the billionaires didn't go to school.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say the one brother I have
There
that
you go.
did not go to college and did not he did better than all of us combined. So
Right.
it's everybody has a different talent, and some people have this inner confidence and inner, you know, that some of us have to gain by going to school and doing different things, you know. And some people just have that innate thing, and they're good at business and they're good at entrepreneurship, and they just go out there, and in the end, it's all about being happy and being whatever it is that you want to do, you know, that makes you happy. Going back again, like that stupid old saying, like, oh, you never work a day in your life if you love what you do, and it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
The other thing, so Gracie, who you'll meet, is going to Alabama, which I love because it's totally different than here. But she thinks she wants to go into sports broadcasting, which is beautiful. And she's got the gift of gab in front of, you know, being interviewed. But there's just so much more that maybe she could do. And I encourage what her goals are, but there's so many other things in that business that she doesn't know about, nor do I. Like, I just want her to go talk to people. I'm constantly asking, how did you get this job? You know, how are you on the, you know, there were just so many different jobs in what the arena that they think they want to be in, but they don't know. So I don't know.
So I think to your point, like one thing that we've talked about on our first podcast and the second one was the power of collaboration and networking. And I think our girls
Yes.
are very good with that. I always tell
Yes,
Presley,
yes.
like you have got, like my daughter has friends from all different groups. She's not with that one friend group. And because you really do need to branch out. So so with Gracie, I think that just when she gets there, she will be amazing because she knows the power of networking.
Yeah. Well, she's seen it between us, and
Right.
that's where we have been good role models. We definitely, and we have networked for them. We have pushed them.
Yeah.
We have made them do things that they weren't happy, but they couldn't see the runway of what we were pushing them to do, to get involved in the community, to be leaders, to start a business, to do a Harvard internship last summer. They could have killed us, and we made them do it, but they're so happy that they did do it. But
Right.
that's where moms come into play.
Part of the parenting.
Yeah.
You
But
know.
sometimes because we told them to do it, it wasn't as good an idea. But if a friend told them,
I think another thing too is, as much as we love our children, as much as we have dream for them, it's very important as parents to let them do what they want. You know, it's hard because I remember my daughter, you know, talking about going to medical school and talking about then she wanted dental, and then she just kept changing her mind, and then she wanted to do VA school, and then, you know, and then one day I made her move back home after college, and she was really upset. And she was like, Mom, I can't believe I'm moving back. And, you know, she's always been super independent. And then next thing I know, she found a job in Miami, and she was moving to Miami. And after she was doing, you know, I was kind of like, you know, you just kind of let them do their thing. And she went, she rented an apartment. And then 6 months later, she got another job. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you know, that kind of stuff. You know, I'm more old fashioned and, you know, not 30 years at a job, but, you know, 6 months, it seemed kind of short. But she had other opportunities, better opportunities. She moved on. And then when she finally made the 6-figure mark and beyond that, she was like, see, Mom, I don't have to get a master's degree. I'm making more money than a PA, double or triple, you know? And she, you know, and I think that was good because, you know, sometimes we have these dreams for our children and it's not, maybe it wasn't her dream. You know, she's like too much of a socialite, and she wanted other priorities in life. She wants to get married, have children, and she started out, you know, if she had gone to medical school, she wanted to be a trauma surgeon. And I'm like, oh my God, she wants to be a trauma out of ball pens. Like, could you
She would have burnt out from that. Yeah.
It would have been like, if she picked plastic surgeon, I would have been like,
yeah, sure. Exactly.
But one thing that we're the first generation of moms to deal with is stupid social media and like every girl catfishing themselves and filtering and all that stuff. So that's hard. I think that's hard when they compare themselves. Like, how come, you know, that girl's lips are so perfect? And,
because they're filtered.
You know,
body
filtered,
image,
photoshopped, and everything.
So I'm obsessed with Alex Earl. I don't know if you know who she is.
Yeah,
but
of course I do.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah.
Who doesn't know Alex Earl? You guys know. Okay. So, and that's what's so authentic about her is like she showed her acne and but she's beautiful and she's so beautiful. But like that was so nice to see someone being real because the social media thing is
She helped Gracie
It's a lot.
it's a lot
with the acne situation.
Yeah.
everything's
I like that
Photoshop,
about-
everything's like perfect, and it's almost like
to this
non-reality.
day, and for us, even, you know, it's like we got to make sure we look good. You know, it's a lot. I mean,
It's intimidating.
It's our reality.
Yeah.
And you just kind of have to move on. But you know,
It is hard.
it's hard in a developing brain and a developing personality, and like someone who's young. Like I think it can really impact them. So
Yeah, I mean, I think the level of mental health in this country is probably at an all-time low.
yeah.
And a lot of this is because of social media. But I do think there's a lot of great things like Alex Girls, like a millionaire now, and all her friends and all these people are making really great incomes doing what they love to do. So there is some good that comes out of it, but it is hard to compare yourself to others.
Totally.
But we can't take it. It's their world.
It's their world. It is what it is.
And it's changing fast, just like your daughter. You don't know what it's like being her age, and we just have to accept that everything is changing and it's changing fast. If you don't get on the bandwagon,
Right.
But the thing
I
about
know
being-
it's like, it's like the whole, like, remember the story, like, oh, I walked uphill in the snow both ways to school.
Yeah.
Like things are going to change year by year, decade by decade, generation by generation. And like, I think out of anybody, moms that I've met, like you guys are very much embracing of like reality.
You have to. Oh
Yeah.
my God. Or you'll
You
lose
can't put your
touch.
head in the sandbox or whatever it's called.
And your children will
surviving
hate
the
you.
teenage years of female
Yeah.
daughters.
Yes. But the one thing about, I always wondered, like, if you're older, do you have like, do you know that, like, do you have a brain of an older person, or do you feel like you're trapped in this body? And I will say, I feel like I'm Presley's age. Like, I really don't feel like I'm my age.
I'm the same. No, I'm the same. I feel like I am so much younger. Like I relate, like there's girls that work at our office that are like early 20s. I'm like, yeah, girl. Like, I feel like I am their age.
I think
Presley's friends come over and I'm
kind of
all
the
in their
opposite.
business.
Yeah.
I want to hang out with all Presley's friends. Like I'm serious. Like I feel like there's so much more fun sometimes.
But then when I was younger, I always felt older, like when I was in high school and stuff, I was like, I felt too mature for some of the people. So yeah,
I'm kind of like that. I
Maybe
think-
you have like a mental age and
No, you just
stick
want to
with
be
it.
with the cool people. The cool people were
I
older.
guess.
We're young.
We keep switching.
But I get the best beauty tips from all the girls. Like, you have to be, I mean,
Clearly.
there's, I mean, like Sephora is in all the girls.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't know how they afford it all, but
Oh, I know. We don't need to know. Who cares? They find a way.
They find a way, but they have the best hacks. So
Yeah.
I found out a hack yesterday. I'm going to share with you guys. So when your mascara is out, don't throw it away, because that's the good separator. I was like, oh, Presley?
Like
I
the
didn't know that.
wand.
The
Don't
wand.
throw the
Just
wand
keep
away.
it. Yeah, just keep it.
Just keep the wand. I was like, who knew? So I watch her. So so I watch her do her makeup, and she used to have a makeup account. She's really good with the makeup. And I'm like, oh my God, what a good hack. So today I was like, oh my gosh, I was going to throw this one out, but now I was like separate. So don't my eyelashes look
It
spectacular?
looks so good. You guys got to watch the video to see it. Okay, well, let's give some time for the girls. So we're going to wrap it up. We are going to have the girls on in just a few moments. So this podcast will stop for just a second, and then I'm going to come right back on and we'll talk to the girls and get the scoop behind the scenes of being the daughters to these wonderful queens.
Fun.
Okay.
Okay.
Yay. Okay, I'm back. So I am back live with the girls. We have here Grace or Gracie, who is Kim's daughter. We have Presley, who's Vicky's daughter, and Gabriella, who is Victoria's daughter. So I'm going to read for the listeners just like quick bios on each of them, just so you know their background. Obviously, you know about their mothers and the wonderful successes that they have accomplished, but these girls are like in the running to do the same, if not more. Starting with Gracie. So Gracie is going to be going to Auburn, War Eagle, which is where I went to school. And she actually is going to play volleyball there.
Yes.
So that's amazing. She's very talented athletically, but also academically. She did an internship at Every Point Matters, which is a sports media agency, during her senior year. And so she has plans to go into sports broadcasting, obviously at Auburn, and we're super excited for her.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's Gracie. And then we have Presley. So Presley is a senior here as well. She's doing dual enrollment. So she's earning college credits while it's still in high school. And she's kind of starting the college application process, hoping to stay in Florida for undergrad. And she's going on kind of like the business, entrepreneurship, interior design route, but she does a lot right now working with the community. And she's had other jobs in retail and hospitality, but she loves fitness and interior design. So yay for Presley.
Yes.
And then Gabriella, she is like a couple steps ahead because she's already working. So this girl, she graduated from FAU in 2021 at 20. So like very young grad. And she had her bachelor's. She got her bachelor's in biology with a minor in psych. She's been 3 years in medical device sales, mostly out of Miami. She's also worked in a med spa doing HRT, hormone replacement therapy, which I've talked about on my podcast several times. So she's like very beauty and business oriented, and she's a big traveler. So we have lots of different perspectives. Say hello, Gabriella, so they know your voice. Okay, perfect. So your mom's obviously, wanted to get you guys on so that our listeners could kind of hear from your side what it's like growing up in this area, in this environment, in this culture, and having such big role models. Like not everyone has moms who work and moms who encourage and inspire. So, just tell me and you guys can go one by one or whatever kind of flows naturally, how that's been and how you guys look up to your moms.
Yeah, I think having a mom that works has such a big impact on your life. And specifically my mom, Victoria, she has kind of shown me that you can do a little bit of everything. Like she's gone back to school when I was in school. She's worked full time. She's, gotten another degree, and she's kind of shown me that you can still be a great mother, still work a full-time job, follow your dreams and career aspirations, and still be a great role model to your daughter and kids as well.
I love that.
I think also with my mom, she's always taught to be independent and be your own person and never rely on someone for something. So she's always taught me, you have to have a job, you have to be independent, you have to make your own income. She's always been very inspiring in that aspect, and she's always worked. Even when I was young, the second she dropped me off at kindergarten, she was like, I have to be working.
Yeah.
And I think her career has just taken off since she's started working, and she's such an inspiration to all, and she's so happy all the time. And it's so inspiring for me as a person.
Yeah, same for me with Presley. I mean, a couple of years ago, my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and then she got a job and has just shown me the way. She's a very successful woman. I look up to her so much because she has started her own company now. So I'm just very proud of her. She's always shown me that you still have to make a living for yourself and be able to support yourself no matter what your situation is.
Right. So do you guys come in contact, living in this area, with people who think totally opposite of you?
100%.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think, yeah. I think that it's actually emphasized, daddy's money, and we only go with dad, and he bought my car and I'm going to swipe his car. That's always, it's never the mom. I feel like it's always dad. It's never.
That's so interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm from Alabama, and it's just different.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm a plastic surgeon. So the dynamic in my household is it's not like the man is the man of the house. I mean, he is, and he's the father of my children, and he is the man of the house, but I also have a very good job. So
Yeah, absolutely.
it's just different.
I think all three of our parents are very good examples of hardworking women that aren't oh, my husband, all that stuff. But in this area, emphasized.
For
There's
sure in this area.
Right. And Gabriella, you're down in Miami, so I feel like it's even worse.
Yeah, definitely. There's kind of a
definitely
stigma behind the woman being, head of the household and having, a badass job. So
Yeah. Okay. So other things that we've talked a lot about with your moms are plastic surgery and beauty, and kind of just the perception of doing these things or not doing these things. In your age ranges now, are people starting to do stuff? What are they doing? What are your thoughts?
Sorry, you could go.
I mean, a couple of my friends have gotten nose jobs so
That's
far.
the biggest one.
Yeah.
I think.
But they're so messed up because their face is keeps developing. So 2 of my friends are already having to go back and redo their nose jobs.
Oh, wow.
I know, but that's really it. I think nose jobs is the big thing.
That's
right
really
now.
common around here. I feel
Yes.
when I first moved here, I was everybody had their nose done.
I know.
I was
And I feel like it's all a lot of lip filler, not necessarily us, but
Yeah.
college. It's once you get to
Yes.
college, I'm just going to do a little, and that's the main 2 for us, I think, in our generation. But people are definitely starting to do stuff as freshmen and sophomores. I've seen.
Are people doing their boobs yet?
yeah, I was just going to say, I'm at that age where people have started to, get their boobs done, kind of go into different types of surgeries and stuff.
My
now.
friends are waiting till 18, but a lot of my friends already have it pre-booked for their boobs
Yeah.
at 18.
Pre-booked.
Yeah, pre-booked. They're when I turn 18, it's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Okay. And then how do you guys feel? You have grown up with social media, right? It's kind of been there forever, as long as you can remember, right? Once you kind of got a phone really young, I'm sure, or were exposed to it. How has that been?
I mean, I would like to live a life without social media. I feel like that would I'd like to see my life without social media for like a week and see. But I think you were younger. You didn't grow up with social media as much as we probably did, Gracie and I.
You guys
feel
are what, like 3 or 4 years apart?
I think I'm 23 right now.
23. So we're like, I'm 17. We're 17.
Okay, yeah,
So
okay.
we're
So
like
5
6
years.
Yeah. Okay.
6 years.
Yeah.
And I feel like as we advance, it just keeps advancing with the age
Yes.
groups.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
absolutely.
It's hard to keep up with.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even seeing the progression in, the past few years for me has been crazy. Like, I think I was probably 12 when Facebook became a thing in my age range, and then Instagram became a thing, and now it's TikTok and this and that, and there's so many different platforms.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of scary, to be honest, to see how it develops. And like, I think about having children of my own, and I'm like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be terrified. Like,
By the time we have kids, it's
exactly.
gonna be-
I know. I
Yeah.
feel like we grew up with like Musical.ly, and then it moved into TikTok.
Yes, musically.
And
yeah.
then now my sister, she's 11. She's like TikTok obsessed.
Wow.
She acts so differently from me when I was a kid. You can just see it. But my friends and I talk about all the time, like getting rid of our phones for a week and using flip phones. Like one of our guy friends uses a flip phone, and he's doing well. So
Because even like,
He's surviving.
yeah.
because Gracie and I, we grew up together. So like from 3rd grade on, and I feel like we both grew with the technology. Like we would both do the TikToks. Like there's so much. The only thing that's good about social media, in my opinion, is the aspect of like you hold the memories. Like I love like
Yes.
sending her all
Yeah.
the videos of us, and it's like we get to see how young we were and how happy we
Literally
were.
2 days ago, I think.
Yeah,
you were
I sent
sending
her
me
like
videos.
so many videos of like when we were younger, and that aspect I do like. But I think that also social media has taken just like a turn. I think that a lot of fake news and like rumors.
Oh
and-
yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
It is really programmed to like steer you in whatever direction it wants to, like depending on what's happening in the world or what you're liking, then
Exactly.
you get to see more of that, which I think from my perspective, like as somebody who's used it for a long time, but I lived without it as well. Like, I feel like that has really impacted the mental health aspect. Cause it's like people get on this spiral, but then it keeps like if you are looking up like right now, like war related things, like it's going to keep showing you more war related things. And it's going to keep showing you more like bad things where you feel like that's all that's happening in the world. And like one piece of advice that I've heard recently is that like our bodies were not meant to know all of this. Like you were meant to like come into this world and like know what's happening with yourself, your family, like the people close to you, like in a small realm. But like we are exposed to the traumas and like the drama of people across the world. And that's just not normal. Like your nerves are not meant to handle that.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that constant stimulation plays so much into the anxiety that we, it's so much more prevalent today, I feel like, than it ever was, but it's because we're constantly being stimulated from every single direction. It's like your phone's ringing off the hook, getting texts, Instagram messages, and news articles, and then you see a video about something, and it's just constant. So it's like you can never really rest.
Right.
Yes.
And I feel like at least our generation is so like we care so much about everything we post. Like we'll make
you have to because you're going to get backlash.
Yeah.
If you post something that's like slightly inappropriate or slightly offensive to somebody.
and then people will send the post and be like, oh my gosh, she looks so tan, or this is so Photoshop. Like it's just, we care so much. Like we'll make 30 TikToks and look through them just to find the one. Like it's like, it's so
exhausting.
Dumb. It's exhausting.
I have to be so careful when I post too, because anything can be sent to coaches to anywhere because there's so much, digital footprint. If you post one thing, then it's on there for the rest of your life. And I just have to be so careful because it's so nerve-wracking knowing that your coaches can just access everything you have within a couple of minutes.
and that it is reality. Like, I was talking to a guy recently, his daughter, she just went to college and she was posting all this stuff, like, binge drinking and stuff, like, which is going to happen. But like, you can't have it documented because this girl supposedly wants to go into some type of like, military or governmental work. And it's like that. Yeah, that's not going to happen because they have photos of you being inappropriate and it's like everywhere. Like that doesn't go away.
Yeah.
It's stressful, but it's true at the same time. Like you can't deny that is going to happen if you post something crazy.
Yeah, no, we have to be very careful for sure. Some people are just like, I don't care.
Haphazard. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, whatever. If it gets, they don't care. But
Right.
like, in our position with college, like it all does matter.
Yeah. And I've already seen it in adults too, like people posting mockery videos being like, oh, I didn't get the job. And then it's to a sound that has like the worst language I've ever heard. And then like, it's so bad, like just bad things.
Yeah.
Like, and you see women like post on TikTok or men being like, oh, I didn't get this job. You swipe on their page and you're like, no wonder you didn't get that job.
Yeah. And I know this sounds so cliche, but like everyone can say that they don't care and whatever, but like when you do see your friends out partying and stuff and then you're at home, you do always get that like,
FOMO.
yeah,
Right.
fear of missing
missing
out.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds like so like cliche, like everyone says, oh, mental health, everything, but social media is definitely, if we didn't have phones, I think that life would be so much different.
Yeah.
in
Much
my
more
opinion.
simple.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Way more simple. I feel like we would be able to just hang out with friends without having to post every 5 seconds. Like I feel like hanging out, like you can't even just hang out without having to show that you're hanging out with that person.
Yeah, no,
too.
exactly. I know. I was thinking about that because a group of girls that I know, they had an event last night. Like they had a little party, and I didn't go because I, had other events, and I'm a mom, and you do have to rest as well. But it's like, I did check and see like what pictures were posted, who was there, what was going on. But it also seemed as though like the whole purpose was to just get together and take pictures. Like,
Yeah.
I know,
that was
yeah.
literally it. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, I know. And it's like, you can't just have a night without posting something. It's just like, I haven't seen that happen
Forever.
Yeah.
since I've been here. I've never seen anyone be able to just go through a day and just be like, nothing.
Yeah.
Every thought, girls have their private stories on Snapchat. You have to post every thought.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
That's just
Snapchat was like the OG for me. Like that was so cool. I loved it. Like I used to use Snapchat so much and I cringe at the thought of it now. Really? What was I doing? And Facebook, I'm like ancient because I was like, when Facebook first started, you had to be in a 4-year university. So like you had to be enrolled in a college, and it had to be a certain type of college. It couldn't be a community college. So like I was one of the first people to ever get it. And just like watching that transformation and like, at first it was like, are they on Facebook? Are they not on Facebook? Are they cool enough to be on Facebook? Did they get a fake email and make a Facebook? Because they're not really at that school. And then it was like, how many friends could you get? And then it was your like I forget what they called it, but it was like your like little like story, like your little tweet, like your little thought.
Yeah.
I look at some of the ones that I wrote and I'm like, what was I thinking? I went through since I went into like medical school and stuff, I deleted a lot of it. And like, I kept the albums, but hid them private so that I could still go back and look at them, but nobody else can. But oh my gosh, social media really does have a huge impact on you. And I mean, personally, cause I have 2 boys now, I have a 5-year-old and I have a 11-month-old, like my plan is to like not let them have phones like for as long as possible.
Yeah, and they will cry and they'll be so
They will
upset.
cry. Yeah.
Just don't.
Yeah.
I'm not,
That's
I
my
know.
plan too. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see if it works.
But I think what is going to happen is because there are so many of us and so many people who see all of the negative of social media that we are going to put limitations on it in the future. Cause it's causing people to like literally kill themselves, it's not good.
No, it's very, very bad. Yeah.
I think like the only reason that my little sister has a phone right now is because of like Life 360 to track her and like see where she is, communicate with
true.
my
Yeah.
parents.
I only got a phone because I was supposed to go to King's, the school, and I had to take a bus. And my parents were like, okay, you're going to get a little phone. And then it just kept spiraling from there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I
And I was
know
like-
it's a slippery slope.
I know.
Slippery slope.
And then I was like, oh, I want the new one. And then I want the upgrade. And then it was like,
Well, I
just
need to
kept
take
going.
good pictures.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I would always say, this one has a better camera. I want
Yeah.
this phone. And it
Right.
didn't even have a better
Yeah. I've never really seen a difference in the cameras.
Not
if I'm
once.
being
No,
honest.
not at all. Like maybe if
Yeah.
you went back to your pictures that you took on like an iPhone 5, you would see a difference now, but no, each time they tell you something great, it's really not any different. And then they're just going to like send your other phone a bug so that it dies and you need to get the new one. It's like all a scam.
Doesn't charge anymore.
Yeah,
exactly.
I do think that we need phones for
Well, yeah, of course.
communication and
Yeah.
stuff. Like
Yeah.
I can't imagine like just going out in the world and not having something to at least have some sort of defense. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, that is something I think about.
phone.
With my job, like having to, drive from medical office to hospital to all these places, I always think about like, how would I get around if I had no GPS?
No GPS.
A map. Imagine mapping out my
grandpa
day.
still uses a map. He'll be like, okay, we have to go this way. My mom's like, you just need to upgrade. Like, I don't know what you're doing.
Not only that, but it shows me the fastest route because I'm always rushing from, a surgery to another office and I need to know the fastest way to get there. So I can't imagine not having it. But
I know. Well, and also I do a lot of my business on social media and on my phone. So it's a necessary evil at this point in our lives. But I do think, if you can have set aside breaks, like, maybe take that week off, when you guys are going to be transitioning to college at some point, or if you have a vacation scheduled, like turn it off for a couple days or whatever and see what happens. You'll live.
It's so sad because even when my phone dies, I'm like, oh gosh, where's the nearest charger? I'm getting anxiety.
Yeah.
It's very bad.
It's crazy.
It is bad. I try to make it a habit of, setting my phone on do not disturb past 9 or 10 PM. That way I'm not, because I'm constantly just checking work emails and just, you get in that habit of it's like.
You just scroll.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's hard.
algorithm.
It's hard when you're young too, because you do want to always be on top of it and you want to respond to people like ASAP.
Right.
But I've been, I listen to a lot of self-help and self-development podcasts, and some of the more productive people, they set aside time. I only check my emails at 8 a.m. at 5 p.m. And they don't check it throughout the day, in the middle of the day. I will check it basically every time I turn on my phone. I check Instagram, I check Facebook, I check my email, and then I check my text. Yep. So it's 4 different things I check every single time. And it's you should have more order to your day if you want to actually really be productive and be a high achiever. So
Yeah.
what are some things that we can't do this forever. So we'll wrap up by just kind of talking about maybe the best piece of advice that you've gotten maybe from your moms or just in general in life, and, or maybe what are some things that are your goals? What are you looking to do in the long term?
I mean, my mom, I'm really big compared to other girls. And just height wise, because I am so tall.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'3".
Because this is a video or an audio.
Yeah. So I'm 6'3".
I didn't think you were that tall. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. So, but she's always told me just to own it and be myself with it, because I can't change my height. And then a couple of years ago, we went to the doctor and they told me I could close my growth hormones. And my mom was like, do you want to? And I was like, no.
Yeah.
Because she's always told me to own it, be confident, use it as an advantage, kind of sometimes I walk through places and I see people staring and then I'm like, you know what? Stare. I don't really
also,
care.
Also, not all girls are committed to Auburn for volleyball.
That's true.
Yeah. My mom,
D1.
my mom always just tells me to own it. I feel it's so original kind of, but it's just so nice and reassuring to hear, have confidence, be yourself no matter what. And she's just always let me be myself too. So
I love that. That is really important.
If you know Vicky, my mom, you just, know that she is all about just be yourself, light up a room. Don't let anyone judge you. Girls will say stuff about her and she's just I don't care. I'm me.
Yeah.
I want to wear the skirt. I want to wear the cute clothes. She's also always about being original too. She doesn't like when people follow this one. She always has taught me to be a leader. Mm-hmm. And that's the main thing she's always emphasized. This one's doing this, but you're going to be the one that stands up and says, I don't want to partake in that stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I want to be the one that's getting a job. I want to be the one that's going to college. She's just always taught me that you have to be a leader. You have to be yourself. Don't let anyone judge you. And stick up for yourself too is the main thing she's always said. I mean, Gracie knows that throughout middle school, I had a tough time, and she always taught me you just have to stand up for yourself. Don't be weak.
Yeah.
You always have to show people you're a baddie. You can't be weak. I love that. I don't know. That's what she's always taught me.
I feel our parents have always told us to be leaders, getting out of the car for school. We used to carpool, so they would always
I'm gonna write this down and so I'll try
be a leader. Yes.
Yeah, because when people know you're weak and you're kind of I don't know. They'll walk all over you, and you can't be walked on.
You're vulnerable. Kind of.
Vulnerable. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you show I don't mess around, I'm a leader, I'm a girl boss.
Yeah.
People will look up to you more. I think, in my opinion.
I love it.
Yeah. I think everything you guys said is so accurate and so on point. I mean, especially getting out there into the workforce and all this stuff. as a woman, you have to be so much stronger than anyone else, because not only that, but as a young woman, especially if you're trying to go into like a male dominated, workforce, it's one of these things where you're constantly going to be like pushed down and walked all over unless you stand up for yourself.
Yes.
So I can't tell you how many times I've had to stand up for myself and be extremely
Today.
strong. Yeah, literally today. Exactly.
I heard about it.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where, you just have to be confident, like you said. I think that's the most important thing, like getting jobs, interviewing for to schools or whatever you might be doing. Confidence is so key because people see that from a mile away.
Yeah.
And
I
like,
love it.
even if, and I think another thing that's like a big thing is, even if you're so insecure and you're like so upset that day, just don't show anyone that. Like, don't put your insecurities on other people. Don't
Make
put
it till you make it.
Yeah,
So true.
You can be so upset someday, like something happened in the morning, but never. My mom has always said, you're always gonna be a light to other people's lives. Never have people say, "Oh wow, she was really rude," or like that was what was that? Like, I always want people to meet me and be like, "Wow, she was a really nice girl." Not, "Oh gosh, like she's got to go," or something.
Yeah.
Exactly. So where do you guys, we'll end with this question because you guys didn't answer it. Where do you see yourself in like 5 years? Let's do 5 years because that's like attainable and you probably have some thoughts about it.
On ESPN.
Okay. I love that for you.
Yes, I have to be. It's like my main goal in life. Ever since I was in middle school, I've always just wanted to be a sports reporter. I have grown up with sports because I have 8 boy cousins and a brother and a dad. And it's just a sports fest at my house all the time. I feel like I even just watch it on my own. But I just want to create a different world for women who want to be in sports and really be one of the main anchors, because you look at it and it's just all men, former athletes. Just, it needs to be more women, because there are so many girls like me who want to be in the sports world, but not are too scared, but it's just a lot to take in. But I really want to, I think I can do it. So that's where I want to be.
I know you can do it.
Yes.
Good.
I want to be an interior designer.
Okay.
I want to start my own business. I want to design homes. That's all I've ever wanted to do. Something in real estate. Obviously, graduating college would be the first goal. And then from there, I want to take my career somewhere with
Your mom
interior
told me to
design.
tell you to go to medical school.
Yeah, she wants me to work. She wants me, because my dad was in medical, my mom was in medical. But I think I know, like, interior design.
You have to go with your passion for sure.
Yeah.
That's super important. Otherwise, if you don't love what you do, I know that does sound cliche actually, but
it's true.
It's very true.
Yeah.
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 Like, I always wanted to do something medical. I didn't know what, but I ended up kind of in that direction. So,
Yeah.
it's been
So
good.
where do you see yourself in 5 years?
That's such a hard question, because I think the younger I was, it was so like concrete, like, oh, I want to do this. I want to be a doctor and I want to have a family at this age. And the older I get, the more that gets kind of pushed back. Now I'm more so
Or altered, not necessarily pushed back. Yeah.
altered. Yeah. Like, I am really focused on my career right now and building that and seeing where that takes me. But I also would love to, start my own company, do something else on the side that I really enjoy, build up real estate. Obviously, I just bought a house. I'm trying to invest in different things, and then also I would love to have a family. So I don't know about if it's going to be exactly 5 years or not, or longer, but that's the goal. So
It's so interesting that you said that, because I feel like our generation's like, we all want to be MILFs, and we all want
I know. Everybody just wants to
here.
be like,
We all do.
we want to have kids like 22. Like, we're like, so, and then like,
yes.
Trust me, I said the same
Yeah,
thing.
no, yeah, you're not going to have kids at
Yeah.
22. I mean, you might, and if you
God,
do,
no.
you'll survive, but no, you probably won't. It'll probably be closer to 30.
I thought I was going to, and now as time progresses, I'm like, all right, like 28, and then I'm sure it'll keep getting,
Yeah. Just don't do it too late,
Yeah, exactly.
God willing, you will do it whenever the time is right. But also don't sacrifice family for career, for everything. It's like the balance that you have to have. Well, you guys have been so sweet. It's so wonderful to see like the other side of like 3 very professional, friendly, amazing, successful women, and kind of like the offspring of them and like a totally different generation. So this was a super fun conversation. And I think even what we talked about today is something that can be applied to everybody, like no matter what age you are. Like Vicky and I were talking about, like, we feel like we're like you guys' age, even though we're obviously not. But it's true, because all of the things that you guys talked about, like having confidence, having goals, reaching your goals, that applies to literally everyone. So I know my listeners are going to enjoy this, and we will have video clips too, so they can check us out on social media. Do you guys have Instagrams or anything that you want people to share or to know about?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Tell me your handles. That way we can have them on the air.
Mine's just grace.havlicek.
Okay. And we'll look for you at Auburn.
Yeah.
Winning the championship.
Hopefully.
And then going to ESPN. Okay. And then Presley, what's yours?
I think mine is just Presley E. Case.
Okay.
E for Elizabeth.
Okay. Wonderful. And then Gabriella?
And then mine's just Gabriella Forte and then XO.
Okay.
Oh, that's cute.
Very nice having you guys. Thanks for coming on. I'm sure we will do this again. I'm telling your moms to start their own podcast.
Yes,
I'm sure you'll be regular guests. But thanks everyone for listening to the Slimming Surgeon podcast. Please leave me a 5-star review. Leave some comments, because it helps spread the word about the podcast. And DM me if you have any questions at Slimming Surgeon. Thanks, guys.